Welcome back to SMPostcards. Today, got the 4 things I usually go through on Mondays. I got the what's sold on eBay. I sold 9 cards. We'll go through those real quick. I'll talk about them, what they sold for, and stuff like that. Then I got a deep dive on a certain postcard. San Diego postcard. San Diego, California is a city. I flew in and did some work there a couple times and stuff, but I never really did the touristy thing. We did it for San Francisco, but I thought I would do San Diego just to see what they sell for. I don't know a lot about it, and I do have some cards from San Diego. I just want to do a deep dive on it. We'll go through the sell-through rate and the pricing. And then for the poll, I put a poll out. This was a viewer suggested poll. They sent a question in with some answers, and I put it out there. How long have you been reselling? So we'll go through and look at that. It was a little different than I thought. I thought it's a little more years than I thought. And I'll talk about when I started and stuff like that. Not a long-term seller compared to what you'll see here. And then I got 3 viewer comments we'll go over at the end of the video. Always stick around for that, because those are comments I pull from email or YouTube. But let's get going here on what's sold. 9 cards. Here goes the roller coaster already. It's up and down. It's not consistent. It's not like having a job where you get a consistent paycheck and stuff like that. Reselling is going to be up and down. If you track it hour, day by day, it's going to drive you crazy. At the end of every month, I look at the figures. It looks good. I look at it every day. I check my bank accounts and I put my numbers in my spreadsheet, and it tells me where I'm at, but I'm not really worried about it. Halfway through the month, I take a look and see where I'm going to be. If it's a lower sales, I just stop buying. I keep my expenses low. I don't promote. I don't do all that stuff. I don't use sales. I put my best price out there so I know I get the margin on it when I sell things. There's 3 things in reselling. Feedback, you got to get over that. It's an opinion of the people. You're gonna get negatives, you're gonna get neutral, and you're gonna get positives. It's just the way it works when they have an open feedback. eBay's never gonna get rid of it because it's self-policing for the sellers. Inconsistent sales. You're gonna have inconsistent sales and refunds and returns. That's part of it. You sell something, you put in a description and stuff like that. It's just part of it, those 3 things. Once you get over those things and don't make it personal and just keep it business, then you're on your way. But it takes a while for people. They put all their hard work into it, and they get bad feedback or they get a return. They've spent the money already. Don't spend that money until you make sure that sale is done. And don't work off just money you're making this month. Try to put some money away so you're ahead of the game. So if you get a big refund or something like that, it doesn't hurt your business. Don't overspend. It's like don't overdrive your headlights at night in a car. Don't overspend the money that's coming in. But let's go through these cards real quick. The first one is the Logan Elm near Circleville, Ohio. It's an elm tree. Must be a special elm tree. Yes, unposted, sold for $4.95. Then I sold this photo of I got these photos that came with those Navy ship cards that I got. This is the USS James E. Craig DE-201. Just a photo. You can see the curl on the photo paper, and that'll go with the stamp and a label because this is not put in a category where eBay standard envelope works. And I don't have any issues on that. I did that for years before eBay standard envelope, so it's not that big of a deal. And I haven't had any return that I can remember or refunded. That sold for $8.75. Aerial view of Lake Bracken, Galesburg, Illinois. Linen card, unposted. I think it's a Kirk Tight. Let's see. Yep, Tight card. $4.95. Biggest sale of the day. This one sold. It's Midway Scene, Rocky Point, Rhode Island. I did some research on this. I kind of remember it. It's a linen card, and this sold for $14.28. That's Midway, Rocky Point, Rhode Island. So Rocky Point, Rhode Island did pretty well for me. I think I got 10 cents in that card, or that, less. Next one is just a fountain. I can't really read it here. It's in New York. It's a divided back card, and this sold for $5.75. Posted. Another Navy ship, USS Pueblo, AGER-2. It's a publisher card that they bought from a publisher, $4.95. This card is some kind of pictures of flowers and stuff in Bermuda. It's a Bermuda card. This sold for $5.26 is what it goes this way. Kind of weird. It's just different. I guess there's a spot that right or something. But it's just a linen card. Sold for $5.26. Sold another Navy ship photo for $8.75. This is the Tortuga LSD 26. I think it's a landing ship. It's that photo. That'll go in the stamp and the label. And then I sold a print, which is semi-gloss on front, matte on back, of the USS Tortuga. Same ship, LSD 26. So we got the photo and we got the ship on there. Altogether, I had 9 cards sold for a total of $66.42 gross. I don't break it all down in net, it'd just be a mess. And $7.38 average sale price if you take the $66.42 divided by 9. So that's just to gauge. If you do it the same way every time, you can kind of gauge. If you do it net, you're going to take 20-25% off around there, and you can figure that. But $66.42. That's what sold. Now we're going to get into the deep dive of San Diego postcards. I'm going to go through and read a little bit of history about San Diego, get your curiosity up. I got 3 facts about San Diego, and while I do that, I'm going to show you some postcards that I found with San Diego, and then we'll get into sell-through rate and pricing. Here we go. San Diego, California has a long history. It all started when the Kumehae, I'll put that down at the bottom, another one of those names I can't say. You guys can correct me. Kumehae Native Americans lived in the area for thousands of years. In 1542, now there's a lot of dates here, 1542, a European explorer named Juan Rodriguez Caballero became the first to sail into San Diego Bay, claiming the land for Spain. However, it wasn't until 1769 that the first Spanish settlement was built, with a mission and a fort, making San Diego the birthplace of European settlement in California. During the 1800s, San Diego became part of Mexico. When Mexico won its independence from Spain during that time, but in 1848, 48 years later, after the Mexican-American War, the land became part of the United States. San Diego was still a small town then, mostly made up of ranches and farmland, but it was beginning to grow as people moved westward. San Diego's big growth happened in the 1900s. With its warm climate and beautiful beaches, it became a popular spot for tourists. It also became a major military hub, especially during World War II, with the Navy building large bases there. Today, San Diego is known for its mix of history, culture, and nature, along with its famous zoo and nearby theme parks. San Diego postcards became popular in the early 1900s as tourism to the city grew. People loved to collect and send colorful postcards showing off San Diego's beaches, historic buildings, and famous places like Balboa Park and the zoo. Back then, postcards were an easy way to share a piece of the city's beauty with friends and family. Some even became collector items, showing how San Diego has changed and grew over the years. 3 facts about San Diego. Home of the world's oldest sailing ship. San Diego's Maritime Museum has the Star of India, which is the world's oldest active sailing ship. It was built in 1863 and has sailed around the world 21 times. You can even visit it and walk on the deck today. So the Star of India. Then bats for breakfast. In the early 1800s, Old Town San Diego had a restaurant that served bat wings as a delicacy. The owner thought it would be fun to offer something strange on the menu, and locals would try the dish just for the adventure. Yeah, I'm not that adventurous to eat bat wings. Be like shoe leather, I think. Then the San Diego chicken mascot, one of the most famous sports mascots in the world. The San Diego chicken started as a character promoting a radio station in the 1970s. It became so popular that it ended up appearing in baseball games, TV shows, and even in video games. So the San Diego chicken. The history of it and a little curiosity to look a little deeper if you want. But then we got to figure out as resellers, do these postcards from San Diego sell? I have this little chart here. I'll just go through it real fast. I take how many cards in eBay sold divided by listed times 100, and it comes up with a percent. And it just, for a 90-day period, it just tells me what's moving in a snapshot. I'm not looking to get down to the last card and make it scientific. It's a probability. It just gets me in the ballpark, a range. So when it comes up to 0 to 3%, it's low. It means they're probably not going to sell as fast as the other ones. But I work between the 4 and 10%. The average and the high is what I look for, because that's the most of the cards I sell. So you want, while you're looking for those, you're going to find some of the very high. So I just don't go looking for the very high cards. They kind of drop in while I'm looking for the other ones that sell the most. So while I'm selling a lot of the average and very high cards, I'm waiting to get the most money out of those other ones. And I try to stay away from the low. But you will pick those up. You think it's a really cool looking card and it's probably going to give you good money. You get it home and it's only worth $3 to $5. It'll happen a lot. There might be a lot of them out there, or it's just not there, or people are selling them too low. So you got to put it on the price you want. So I went out there and I said Postcards San Diego. So anything with the title, item specific San Diego. There was 1,400 sold in the last 90 days when I did this. 42,000 listed. California is pretty saturated with postcards, just like New York. Times 100 gives you a percent, round up or down, 3%. If you look at the chart, it's right at the top of the low going into the average. So the low, average, so right there tells me the probability of these selling is not going to be real high over the other ones. So I'm not going to pay that much for them, and I'm not going to actively source them. When I see them, I'll take a look at it and see what the subject is. Now this is for normal cards we see every day. Your real photo postcards, your unique ones and stuff like that, they're going to sell themselves. That's not going to fall. It's really hard to do sell-through rate on one-of-a-kind cards and stuff. Halloween and stuff like that, those sell themselves. But you got to take that 3% and see if it kind of falls in there. You got to do a test, I guess, just to see if it's okay. So I did Postcards Chicago is at 3%, and San Diego is 3%. So Chicago's a big city. It's got a lot of postcards. Got 120,000 listed out there in Chicago. They're both 3%. Then San Francisco, which is in California, northern, there's 110,000 San Francisco cards, 4%, and then you take Seattle, which is north and the west coast, 5%. So I think 3 to 4%, it's a average to low card. I'm not going to spend a lot for them. I'm not going to actively search for them unless they're unique. So if I see a box of cards and half of them are San Diego, I'm not going to pay a lot for that box. Or I might even pass, because I know they're not going to sell as well as some of the other things I can spend my money on. You don't want to sit on all your inventory. Some of you got to. So that's sell-through rate, 3%. It's not an active card I really look for. But then you got to look at pricing and see, maybe they're not selling as many at once, but maybe they're higher priced. They can have a play on sell-through rate and stuff, but I kind of keep them separate. So 3% sell-through rate. Now we're going to look at pricing. I got 8 cards here. I'm going to go from high to low. And one of the cards, I got 2 of the same. I'm going to show you the spread that you got to be careful of. So if you're trying to compete by price with postcards, this many out there right now, it's an uphill battle. You got to come up with what you want first. What is your margin? What do you need to pay your bills? Be profitable, put some money in your pocket, and buy some other postcards. Don't just chase to the bottom. You're going to fail. That's a wrong way to go. Buy them right, sell them with a good price, back it up with a good service. But the first one here is a real photo postcard. It's Postcard Pair Los Angeles. Postcard Pair. Maybe it's a pair of postcards here. So I think there's 2. If you look in the corner there, and then you look at the top. San Diego, California Beach Railway train, and then the train crew. So there is 2. There's one with the train crew in there. So it's okay to do a listing like this, I guess, because it's sold for $325. $150 some dollars a piece. That's not bad. So these are the types of cards at the sell-through rate. It's just going to throw it. It's an outlier, I call it. I don't look at all my cards for that. But those are really nice cards. Then we get into this Ricky Henderson 1997 San Diego Padres. So whenever you put a city in, if they got a baseball team, hockey team, you're going to get those as well. It's a team-based postcard, a Continental 6x4, sold for $200. I'm not up on baseball as much as I used to be years ago, so I'm not, Ricky Henderson doesn't ring a bell to me. But then I went out, as I was doing this, I found another one of the same postcard, and it looks like the same seller. The first one, he put it up for $200 and with a buy it now best offer, and he got full price for it. The next one, they put it in auction, probably to test the market. He's probably got a bunch of these. He got $75, one bid in an auction. So which one's better, buy it now, best offer, or auction? So $200, $75. Where's this going to fall? What would you put up, 125? What's so special about Ricky Henderson? Someone put it in the comments that know baseball. But that's just the spread I'm trying to show sometimes, that pricing isn't everything. It just, whatever, sometimes. It's a big spread. It's hard to come up with a number. If I had to put a card like this up, I'd probably put it up for 125. It's in between. It's going to sell. I paid 10-15 cents for it probably, and he's going to make a killing on it. So, but Ricky Henderson, if you got one, put it up. Then you get into another real photo postcard of a ice cream manufacturer in San Diego. That's a nice looking card. Look, it's got a horse out front. It's got a corner view. It's like a front right corner view of the place. It looks in pretty good condition. $100. That's another one of those outliers. So we've just talked from 300 to 100 for outliers and stuff. The next one I think is undersold. I don't think they did it on purpose, but I think I would have tried to get a little bit more for these because it's got everything that I kind of look for. It's a real photo postcard in San Diego, Fire Chiefs Parade. And we just talked about in my last video about parades, or one of my last videos, that some of these can do pretty good. And they put it up for $30, $29.99, and that's what they, in an auction. Maybe they were thinking they're going to get more, and they only got one bid, so maybe they ran it for 7 days. That's why I don't really like auction. It only gives 7 days for someone to look at it. If you would have put that up for more and best, you know, put it for buy it now, best offer, and just sit on it, I think you might have got a little bit more on there. What does people think about that? Am I thinking right? But that's a pretty neat card. It looks in pretty good condition. I've never seen that card, so plus it's got the fire department, fire chief on it. That's going to help too. Maybe Kevin, the postcard guy, has seen this card or something like this. He does a lot of real photo and stuff like that. Then Hotel Vaughn, San Diego County, Jamuga Hot Springs Roadside. It's like a multi-view. Got $20 for it, but it was an auction, one bid. All the auctions I've shown here has only one bid. If you only get one bid in an auction, it's a buy it now. So if you put it up for 99 cents and you only get one bid, you're selling it for 99 cents. You're banking of the old days of eBay. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. Then you got the Imperial Beach Travel Lodge. A travel lodge. I usually sell these for $4 to $8. This one for $16, $15.99. Multi-viewable travel lodge in San Diego County. Chrome postcard. That's going to stick in my mind and take a little look at travel lodges, maybe more than I have been. Then the last one, remember when high to low is a high school, National City, San Diego, California. So they got high school, they got the city or town, and they got the state. That's going to hit the saved searches. People are looking for their hometown, the school they went to, and stuff like that. Sold for $8, $7.95. That's not a bad price for a card like that. It looks like it's divided back. I don't have it in my hand in there. I didn't look at the back. So that's the spread of pricing that you're going to see out there. So be careful with your pricing. Put it what you want, what you need. If you paid up on it and the prices here don't do that, you can try to go high for a while, but you might have to go down. So you got to buy it right and stuff like that, and back it up with service. And don't race to the bottom. That's San Diego postcards. Who knew? Now every Saturday I put a poll out. You can subscribe and you'll see them when they pop up in the community tab. And you just vote, and it gives us an oversight. Like we had 73 people voted on this one, and the title of this one was "How long have you been reselling?" This was sent to me from a viewer that I always ask, if you got a poll you want me to put out there, you got a question, I can do it. I can slide it in. Might take a little bit to get there. I might reward it and stuff to make it flow, but I'll send you a message when it's going to go. And I slid this one in. How long have you been reselling? I put 1 to 2 years, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, or 7+ years. I thought it was going to be like 3 to 4 or 5 to 6. The highest one was 7+ years, and you're going to have to see some people have some longer time. So 7+ years, we have a lot of experience here. So if you got questions, put it in the comments. The next one was 3 to 4 years. And probably with the pandemic, people lost their jobs or work from home now and stuff. They want some extra cash. Prices have went up. I can see that a little bit. So 3 to 4 years. And then 1 to 2 years. People just starting out is only 16%. And 5 to 6, that little, look at that, it's right in the middle there. 5 to 6, from 4 to 7, it's just not there. 7%. Me, I started dabbling into reselling. I always did help with flea markets. I had, had businesses and stuff like that, but I never really resold, like on eBay and stuff, a lot, because I had a full-time job. I was working, 40, 60 hours a week sometimes. I was a manager for many, many years. I was on the road. My income was fine. I didn't need the extra. And my wife was home. She was working at the school, Brailing and stuff. So we weren't in that need. And I liked the historic things about stuff and the history and stuff, but I just didn't have time and didn't want to make the time, I guess. So in 2015, I started dabbling a bit because I knew I was going to be retiring probably around 55 to 60. I ended up retiring at 55. One day after my 55th birthday, because I couldn't retire on a Sunday, they told me. So I went in and changed my schedule and said Monday. Hit the button and I was done after 20-some years. I did a lot. I started getting into it. I liked it. I was making some money, learning how eBay worked, made some mistakes, learning through stuff. But I got into action figures and toys. I like superheroes. I like Marvel. I like DC Comics, all that stuff. And I found a distributor I could buy brand new stuff from. I was getting pallets of the stuff. I started selling at the flea market. And then they put me at home, maybe like a chief architect, whatever the name of the title was, high-level troubleshooter. I worked from home. I never did that before, and so for like 4 years I was just working from home, and they didn't give me a lot of work. When the fires started, something happened. They wouldn't call me when 1 or 2 things broke. They'd call me when the whole thing went down. And a lot of times I could fix it because I put most of it in, and I have the experience and the expertise to do it. So I did a lot of that, a lot of security stuff, or just odd things helping the higher management make decisions. But it wasn't a lot of work like I used to, so I started reselling. I was at my desk every day doing stuff, but I was learning new things. I knew I would be doing something. I needed to find something. I'm retired. But I started selling. Here's some pictures of some stuff, my storage units. I had sometimes 4 to 5 storage units full of collections I bought. And this is just one of, with the boxes there were numbers on it, is where I store things. I didn't want to put it at home. And then I started getting into postcards. And I really grew the business. I mean, just look at the shipping boxes. That's a normal day, average day, where they would come with a van at the post office and pick up boxes. So it was becoming a job again. And I said, I need to slow down. So we stopped the flea market. I stopped selling toys. It took me about a year to get out of everything, the storage units, and sell everything off. There was a toy store in town that bought me out on some things. I sold a lot on sale at the flea market just to move things, and got rid of the racks and just downsized. And during that time I was doing postcards as well, and that started becoming easier. They're easier to manage. They're all right here in the office. I like the history and stuff like that, the knowledge I learned on them, and I just started more, and it kind of just took off. And now I got 57,000 plus postcards up, and it kind of runs its own. And the expenses are low. There's not a lot of lifting, cleaning. I don't have to run around sourcing, because there's billions of these things out there. So, but those were some of the pictures what I used to do. So I have experience in not just postcards. I can sell anything that comes in, and I know how to package, ship it, the whole works. But one of the things about doing that, about doing this since 1998, 1999, I hear a lot of people say, well, I've been selling ever since eBay started, and it should go back the way it was, and stuff like that, and this isn't right. I've been through this. They bring PayPal back. Those people need to get over it. It's the new, they're moving forward. They got managed payments now, and just the way they do things. Promoted listings weren't back. eBay standard envelope. All that stuff has changed. And some of the videos I see, I've been selling on eBay for 20 years. eBay seller for 18 years. That's great. But I try to be humble about it. A lot of new people coming in don't really want to, they want the experience, but they want to be that person with the experience, and people get tied up in the past and they get negative to these people. So when people come to me and they say, how long have you been selling? I said, for a while. What do you need? And yeah, I've seen that. So what you gain is experience, but I don't throw it in people's faces and say, you need to change this, you need to do this, because I'm just humble about it, because everybody starts at the first postcard or the first item they list, and they just need to learn. And sure, some people are really good at it because they've been doing it for all these years, but some people have not changed. They're still stuck in the old way, doing auctions for 99 cents and stuff like that. Some of that stuff isn't really that good anymore, and but they don't want to change and stuff. So I don't want to be that seller. I don't want to be the old guy saying, stuff. Like I had a boss. I had 15, 16 different bosses, over directors, vice presidents, and stuff over the years in the company. Every time I've worked for one for 2 years and do a really good job in my team, and he appreciated everything we did, he knew our value, boom, he moved on to somewhere else or quit or whatever, and we get a new boss in. That boss did not care what I did in the past. They want to know what I was going to do for them now and moving forward. So all that history in the back was a wash. So the new people coming in asking questions, they want to know what it's going to do for them now and moving forward. Hearing some of the neat stuff about it back in the old days is fine, but it's not a lot what some people need to hear, want to hear. They want to hear how it's going to help them now and move forward. So I don't say that to people. I just want to be that seller, be that person in life, either for the new music and stuff. I used to listen to this, they shouldn't be doing this, they should be outside playing instead of on their phones. That's the new stuff. Just how it works with the generation. But I got 6 comments here real quick. Laughing Picker said 20 plus years. So 20 plus years of selling. Great, Laughing. Philip on eBay 18 months. Postcard shows with Dad and on my own 50 plus years. That's a long time. Now that's impressive. It's not saying that none of that stuff is not important. It is, because you gain so much experience and you've seen so much. You can share that with people, but some people do it untactful is what I'm trying to say. But not Phil. I'm not saying you guys did that. Thanks, Laughing and Phil. Postcard Reflections on eBay since 1999, selling postcards for just over a year. Yeah, people have been in and out of eBay over the years. Thanks, Postcard Reflections. And then Cat D, too long, laughing out, but not long enough is some. Yeah, I don't think there's any record. I don't think there's any medal to be on there for 20 years, because eBay's changed, the market's changed, and stuff like that. As long as you're giving it a shot, you get the medal. So thanks, Kat. And SMPostcards, 26 plus years. A lot of experience here. So I only had 5 of them, not 6. So as you see, there's a lot of people here with a lot of experience. Tap into them, and if they're tactful, you can learn a lot from them and stuff like that. But also they can learn from the new generations as well. People just need to be open to that. So you can still comment on there and let us know how long you've sold. Now, viewer comments come from email and YouTube, and I paraphrased the last one because some people send me big paragraphs and stuff, and I don't want to put all that up on the screen and take forever. But I got 3 here today. The first one's from Dr. Chris, Fossil Forward Finds. I definitely use saved searches. He's talking about the Widget Wednesday video I did about saved searches. Use saved searches, but as you indicated, to chase the algorithm, and the self-similar folks have somewhat ruined the mechanism. And what that is, I've talked about a lot. If you use self-similar, relist, and relist, and self-similar, whatever that is, and it does good for you, keep doing it. I'm not saying don't do it, but there is a downplay to it with saved searches, because you keep putting the same cards up and it keeps hitting the same saved searches. These people see the same cards and they stop their saved searches. So there is a down thing, and chasing the algorithm is another thing. I don't do all that. I just sell. I put my best price out there and I sell it for what I need. So thanks, Dr. Chris. Then Rebel Depot says there's another bubblegum alley. I'll put a picture of there. This is from the Seattle video I did about Seattle, Washington. There's a alley there where people stick gum on there, and there's thousands of pieces of gums in this little alley. And Rebel Depot said there's another bubblegum alley in San Luis Obispo, California. I proudly placed a piece of gum on the wall when I was around 8 years old, highlight of our vacation. So it's another bubblegum wall. But watch the Seattle video to hear a little bit about bubblegum wall in the part where I talk about the deep dive for Seattle. Thanks, Rebel. Now this one came in from an email, and it says, I have a friend that has a boatload of postcards and wants me to sell them for them on commission. Have you ever done this? No, I don't sell on commission. I will buy it out. Either I buy it from them. So if they got, say, 10 boxes of postcards, I give them $1,000 for them. I buy them. I do whatever I want with them. I keep the money. I keep the whatever. They got their money. They're out of it. They're mine now. With a commission, so say he gives you those boxes to sell. You go in there, you do all the work. You're doing all the work. You're putting your account on the line. You're spending your time. He's just sitting there doing nothing. And what is he's going to get 50%, and you get 50% of what? The profit or the sale? He's going to look at the sale number. So if you sell a postcard for $10, he wants $5. And you know, with all the shipping, all that other stuff, and the envelope and the cost and the eBay fees, that's not $5. He's going to get $3, and then you got a conversation to try to teach him how to do eBay. That conversation is horrible because he doesn't sell, so he doesn't understand. It's just taking up more time. And then when you get a refund, you've paid him every month, and then all of a sudden someone comes in and does a refund for that $10 card. Well, you already paid him. You can't go to him and say, well, I need my money back. And then you sell a card for $10, and he thinks it should be $20 because he doesn't understand how it works. It's caused a lot of friendships to get sour, too. So you don't want to, I don't do it. I don't care if there's money there or whatever. No one wins. Some people are successful doing it maybe, but what I found, I buy it outright. There's no winners. There's not enough margin in some things to do that, and people get stupid sometimes about money and selling stuff. So my recommendation, everybody, do not sell on commission. Buy it outright. So if it's $100 worth of postcards, give them $40, 40% of retail. You should be fine, 30 to 40%, and you could probably sell them for what you need. And that way, there's nothing about it. I don't do the commission thing because now you're working for someone else. You got to keep track of stuff. It's all your time, all your risk, and nothing on them. So no, commission, no. So no, a flat no in there. That's San Diego Postcards, guys. Not the best things in the world, but there are some that are pretty good. And that Ricky Henderson, I'll have to look that up. The Continental card is sold for that money. What do you think? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.